Hi guys, so this week this video is for my bigger kids and we will be doing a Thanksgiving themed drawing. So you will have two different choices this week, which you usually don't have. You do not have to do both of them, you only have to pick one. Now the reason I'm giving you this choice is because the folding part is a little more complicated, and if you can't get the paper to fold the way that I show you and it's just getting on your nerves, then you can always just switch to the drawing. So if you are going to do the drawing, all you're going to be doing is looking for a nice cartoon turkey picture. I went to Google and I went to Google Images right here, and I just searched up cartoon turkey. You could look up cartoon or cute cartoon turkey, cute turkey clip art, anything like that should work. Now when you are looking for a picture, you need to pick one that is not super easy, right? If you're not going to pick the one that I did right here, then you need to be looking for one that isn't super simple. You should know what I expect from you, and this would probably be a little too easy. These over here aren't too bad. This one's a bit too easy. This one's definitely too easy. So pick one that isn't very simple, that's going to take you a little while. So I chose this one, which was pretty complicated. You could do one of these, but just look at the picture. If you look at it and you're like, oh, I wonder if Miss Mobley thinks this would be easy. If you're wondering if I think it's easy, it's probably too easy. So look for something that's going to challenge you. It doesn't mean it has to be crazy hard, but look for something that looks this amount of detail. If it's just your hand with a smiley face on it, that is not going to give you a good grade at all. So I do expect you to look for something that is nice, that has a lot of detail. So I'm not going to show you how I drew this. I'm going to be showing you the other example, the other thing that you could do. But when you're looking at a picture, just remember, look for the simple shapes to help you build those complicated shapes. So I started with a big circle for the head, a whole lot of circles for each of these eyes. They just got a little bit smaller as we went inside. So big circle or oval for the body, and you just take your time drawing it a step at a time. Just build it out. Draw with pencil first. I have seen a lot of people I've seen some people drawing with pens. I've seen some people drawing with markers. You need to use your pencil first in case you make a mistake. And when you are drawing, you will probably need to erase some things. So you're not going to be able to erase ink, whether it's the pen or a marker. You're definitely not going to be able to erase crayons and colored pencils. So it needs to be pencil first. So all we should really be using this week is pencil, eraser, and maybe you'll have time to outline it with marker, but pencil and eraser are the big things that you should be using this week. So take your time. If you want to, you could put some diagonal lines in the background, or you could do like a farm scene, like a barn in the background with like a big fence. Maybe there's some other animals all at the farm. Lots of different things that you could try adding to the background. Just make sure that you're not drawing small. So I have two big rules in art. Number one, draw big. Number two, draw lightly. So make sure that you're always at least doing that, drawing it big and drawing lightly so you can erase if there are any mistakes. If you draw this turkey teeny tiny, I better have tons of other stuff around it and not just nothingness. Like, I need to see that you are spending time on it and adding a lot of details. I guess we could make that a third rule for Miss Mobley. No empty spaces, or not huge empty spaces. So this is the first example. This is something that you could do, or you could do this other one. And with this, it is going to, here, let me go ahead and close this. So with our picture here, you can actually unfold your paper and it will open up his mouth all big and wide. You could write like gobble gobble or feed me or happy Thanksgiving or anything like that inside his mouth as well. And I'm going to show you step by step how to do this one. So when we are folding this is a little... It's a little hard to explain a simple way to fold this paper, so just make sure that you are watching so you can hopefully get it correct. So with your piece of paper, it needs to be up and down hot dog like this, or vertical, or portrait, whatever you want to call it. There's so many different names. So it needs to be up and down. What I like to do is you can either fold it down from the top or you can fold it up. So I think it's easier at this first step to just fold up because you can kind of look at the top of the paper still instead of it being upside down. So what I like to do to start is fold up from the bottom of your paper and give enough room that there's a nice sized rectangle at the top. So you're not folding all the way up, lining it up with the top. You're going to leave some room up there. So then I fold it right there, and we have that bit of an opening, that bit of an area that's left up at the top. Then unfold it, and then you would fold this top part. So this is the fold here that we just made. You could fold this down and then fold this top part up just a little. So again, you're not going to be like lining anything really up. You're just folding it up some, and there's going to be a little bit of, it's going to overlap just a little bit up at the top, another kind of skinny rectangle of width up there. So you want a piece of paper. It kind of looks like that. It's kind of like a little accordion, or kind of looks like the letter Z on the side. Something like that is what you want. So it can do this little thing. So when I start drawing on this, I draw it closed first. I think that it makes it a lot easier to line up the inside to make sure everything touches where it should be, everything lines up the correct way. So what I would do first is draw all of this. I'm going to show you a step at a time. I can't stop. There's like something in my throat or something. So when I do this, I like to start with kind of a big curved line. Hopefully you can see this. And it doesn't go all the way to the top, so it's just going to be kind of like a really big sad face, I guess. Or like the letter N without that straight line on the front left. I've already made a mistake. Today was a crazy day. Sometimes when you're drawing and you just have like a really bad day, you're like all stressed out and nothing seems to be working, and that was Miss Mobley's day. So I might make a lot of mistakes, but I'm going to try and calm down and have fun and draw this with you guys. Alright, so now we have the top of our head, and I want to go ahead and let's go ahead and put the beak. No, let's get the bottom of its head. So I'm just going to have a little curved line come off of the bottom. So this is under the fold here, so make sure that this part comes on the bottom part of your paper. So the fold is right there. So and this is on the bottom to make it look like his mouth is opening. Alright, so then we have our beak. I'm going to put the top part of the beak up here, kind of a triangle, and then we'll have the triangle come off of the bottom. We can make it a little bit wider even. Let's make it wider. Let's give him a big old mouth. Remember, if you draw over something, you need to erase what you drew over. So I erased that part of the line there. Again, big rule, draw big, draw lightly. If you're pressing super hard, you're not going to be able to erase. Alright, so some little ovals for the nose hole. I'm going to put this like just little squiggly line, and this is like the gobble. I don't know what the actual name of this part of the turkey is, but it's a weird little red gobble thing. I have no idea. I'll have to look that up at some point. It's just kind of like a, I don't know how to describe that shape. Just like that. Some weird little curved lines. So up here you can do big circles. Since Miss Mobley had a bad day, let's make an angry turkey, because this one looks all silly and cute and derpy. Let's Let's make an angry turkey. Maybe I can get out my anger by drawing an angry turkey. So I wonder if some circles are work. So when I draw something angry, the best way to make it look angry is the eyebrows. I'm going to give him some big eyebrows. I'm going to have him cover up the tops of those circles. And I'm angling them down, pointing down to make it look like he's glaring. To make him look even angrier, we could probably even make his eyes like really like diagonal and pointed or jagged or sharp looking. I keep throwing my pencil. But I'm gonna stop with that. Maybe big circles inside. Just like that. Alright, what else should we do? Maybe we can give him some hair. Give him a little mohawk. Alright, so we've got most of his face done. Should we give him eyelashes? No, let's just leave it like that. So if you want to put eyelashes, you could. I'm trying to think of another way to make him look angrier. No, maybe we'll put some little lines on his cheeks. That should be good. Alright, so we've got his head now and his beak and all of that. So let's go ahead and get his body down here. Now, there is not a lot of room down here, right? So we're going to just make him kind of short and chubby. So just a big oval or a big curved line coming off of his head here, off of this line. And then his little feet. I start with kind of the letter V or an upside down triangle. And I just do some like curves on top. Just like that for his little toesies. Put some little lines on his toes if you wanted. And then we're going to give him his feathers. So, I'm sorry, his wings. So these up here are his feathers, but these here are his wings, so he can like fly. I don't think turkeys can actually fly, but I'm not sure. Can turkeys fly? I'll have to look that up too, I guess. I'm going to learn a whole lot from this that I didn't expect. So what I start with here is here at the corner of our paper as well. So right at that edge, I'm coming out and down and just curving or diagonal lines. However you want your little feathers to look. I like them square sometimes, so I did them a little more curved up here, but again, it's a different style, whatever style you kind of like. Do you want your feathers to be more square or more curvy? I'm going to make them very square on this guy. All right, so we've got our feathers now, or I'm sorry, our wings. I keep calling them feathers. And now all we have to do is start with our feathers on the top. So I start here and I just do a big curved line, and this is our fold right here. So hold your paper down so you can kind of draw over it. And then diagonal line down. Then again, curve up, diagonal line down, curve up, all the way down. There is that fold right there, so be careful when you're drawing over it, or your line will get super wobbly. You can just make this one kind of disappear up off of the page. I like to sometimes make sure that I have the same amount on either side, but if you don't want to worry about that, that's not a big deal. So I've got 1, 2, just trying to kind of like eyeball it to make sure that they're about the same size. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, just trying my best to make it look kind of even. Another way you can do it is kind of judge over here. So it was about here. So I'm a little further down, but that's not a big deal. I think this line here got a little pudgy. There we go. And just one more. I'm going to pull it right there. All right, so we've got pretty much our whole dude kind of done. Let me move this so you can see a little easier. I like to also put some little curves at the top. This just gives a place that you can put a different color. So it's not boring. So we talked before about variety and adding different colors. If you're like, yes, a real turkey is probably just going to be a lot of different browns, right? But if you want to make it more interesting, you can add different colors. A lot of times in fall, you use a lot of warm colors, so reds, oranges, and yellows. But you'll see purple as well every now and then. So and purple can still kind of be warm because it has red in it. I'm trying to get this thing to stay put. I have this big poster blocking the light so it's not too bright so you guys can actually see as I'm drawing. All right, so we have everything pretty much done on the outside of our paper, or when it's shut. So now we're going to open him up. Now we don't have anything inside yet, and that's fine because we haven't even started that part yet. So all we're going to be doing to begin with is connecting the dots pretty much. So you're going to open it up and you're going to connect these lines down to the bottom portion of your folded paper and just have that open, big open area. So let me go over to here. Now the first thing I like to do here is draw the bottom of this beak as a triangle or the letter V. So getting the top part of his beak done first. Then this part of the beak, I bring it all the way down. And it can go out some, it can curve out a little bit, it's fine. To connect down here to the bottom. Then again, same over here, all the way down, connecting to the bottom. Now don't forget his gobble. We're going to curve, do some like little curvy, wavy lines, just like that. And now we have his gobble done. Now I also like to put a little kind of V shape here, or V line, to kind of show like the bottom of his beak. Now we have his mouth open. So all we have to do now, I like to put a big skinny oval for like the hole in the back of his mouth. And then his tongue. So I start this kind of like the letter M, or you could even kind of see it as a heart. So sometimes people draw tongues kind of like hearts. So I curve this down and then just kind of like that. And this is covering up the back of his throat, so I'll erase the bottom of that oval, just like that. I kind of want his mouth to open wider. Let's see. Yeah, we can do that. So I'm going to curve this out even more. Because why not? It's my drawing. I can do it. Maybe we can do it over here too. Just make it a little bit wider. And we just have the gobble kind of hiding that. Am I going to be able to do that? I might not be able to. Okay. So if you can tell, I'm folding it down every now and then just to make sure that I'm not messing anything up. So that line probably isn't a good line to go right there. We might need to move that one. So just constantly checking to make sure that you aren't putting anything in a wrong spot that's going to show up when you fold it back down. So let's see if that works now. There we go. So now his mouth is closed, and now his mouth is open. I need to stop being a perfectionist. I get like this when I'm in a bad mood. Everything has to be exactly perfect or I'm not happy. All right, so now we can get this line here and connect it to the bottom of our head here, or you can connect up, whichever works for you. I like to curve out again to give him some like kind of chubby cheeks, just like that. So now we have his head completely done. So good job if you're keeping up. Remember, you can pause if I'm going too fast. Don't be afraid to pause. Let's double check. Yeah, still looks good. All right. Now the only thing we have left to do is to finish off his feathers. Now this feather is actually down here, but we're just going to go ahead and curve, give a new line here for an extra one, or an extra feather, so it still lines up. So just curve lines, curve, curve. Let's see if we can curve this one over like that. And then we'll double check, and it still works. Awesome. So again, pull this down, pull that line down to his body, curve, curve, curve. What is that line? Oh, it's from... And sometimes you'll find some extra lines that you're like, where did that come from? And curve. Make sure it still works. Yay, it does. Perfect. All right, and that's pretty much everything. We got all of our curves on our feathers. We got our mouth wide open. Maybe we could put, let's just put gobble, gobble. So at this point, you would get your black marker out. If you do not have a black marker, you could always use either a black colored pencil or a black crayon and press kind of harder with those. You're just going to trace over all of your lines, taking your time to trace nicely. No scribble scrabble, no rushing at this stage. If you rush at this point, you will probably ruin all of your hard work with really wobbly bad lines. So take your time tracing over each of your lines, and then we will color this next week. Make sure that you're not coloring until next week, because I'm not sure how we're going to color it yet. And if you color it the wrong way, well, you won't be following the rules. So you will trace over all of your lines, and then you should have a nice closable turkey that goes from super cute and his mouth shut to ah. All right, guys. So one more time, you're either doing this project with the turkey that his mouth opens or her mouth opens, or you are doing a drawing of a nice turkey that you found on Google, and you're taking your time and still tracing it with marker as well. All right, so I can't wait to see your turkeys, and we will color it next week, and have fun. Bye, guys.